Hey everyone, welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook. If you're watching this bearded face right here, it must mean it's Monday night or you're going to watch a recording later on. If you haven't met me before, my name's Tom Springer and this is my show. Welcome. If you have seen me before, hi, welcome back. And let me see if I can do this. If you're watching my show, that means it is 7 p.m. Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, which is actually where I am right now. I'm actually on the West Coast. 2 o'clock Hawaii, 11 hours ahead of us in Indonesia. So 7, I don't want to do the math right now. I'm too tired. And then about 17 hours, 15 to 17 hours ahead of us in Australia, depending on where you're at. Anyways, welcome to the show. Hi, everybody. I see people popping in, so that is fantastic. As I said, I'm coming from Pacific Coast. I'm down in San Diego. I'm actually at Camp Pendleton. As you can see behind me, this is my wonderful living quarters. It looks like I'm in the bottom of a dungeon somewhere. Don't mind that. I'm not in prison or anything else. This is just how it looks down here at a military base for the Navy. So anyways, welcome. And I have on a very special guest. He's a first for, I don't know who else has ever had this, but I actually have on someone who does rune readings. And his name is Wayne Brekke. He's fantastic. And I will bring him on and I'll tell you how we met and everything else. So without any further ado, here is Wayne. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Hello, how are you? How's everybody doing tonight?
So Jamie's already popping in saying, hey. You'll see this name pop up here. This is, you met Nicole already. This is Nikki. This is my wife. You met her when she was with me, but she's still out in Midwest, out where you are.
Well, yeah, I hope the babe was for you and not me. So
well, you never know. There she is saying, "Hey Wayne, welcome to the show." She's been looking forward to this one. Oh look, we even got other people. So, well, look at that one. That must be for you.
I think I know that one. I think I know.
You notice that one didn't say hi, babe, though. So I just
right.
So that hi must have been for me, not for you.
Hi from upstairs.
Yeah, and that's funny how you said that, because normally when I'm back home, my wife is sitting in another room monitoring us to make sure that the internet working right and everything else and stuff like that. Things aren't going sideways. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Now she responded to me. So hi, Lori. Wait, I mean that one must be for you.
I feel loved. I feel loved. Everybody. Thank you.
Oh, look, we have a Facebook user who says aloha, which means this is Joe. Joe's the one I told you that watches us from over in Hawaii.
We have lots of Hawaii friends, actually.
Yeah, he actually runs a site that's a private site called Hawaiian Hauntings. Oh. And so he's out there, and I love having him come in and participate. So he's actually going to be on my show at a later time as well. We just have to work out the details still. That few hours difference is going to kick my butt. This one says, dang, no laughing ghosts. The reason that happens is because normally when my wife and I are in the other rooms, you can hear her laugh. And I'm always like, no, it's not a haunting. It's my wife laughing from the other room. So,
what about meowing ghost cat? Because you might see that here. You might
that would be fantastic.
I have kitties, and they're going to come around sometimes. I forgot to shut the door all the way. Yeah.
So for those who don't know, I am actually, right now I live in Omaha, Bellevue, Nebraska, which is a suburb of Omaha, Nebraska. And I was out there. Here you go. I was out there at a Mystic Fest, and I happened to run across this guy who was doing rune readings, and I kept walking by him numerous times trying to get his attention, but I could not get him to take a break in any way, shape, or form, because he was so busy, because so many people wanted rune readings. And my wife and I walked around this place for hours, just trying to, you and one other person, we were trying to corner, and we had to get you guys to take a break. And I was standing over by that other person, and I look across and I see you don't have anyone in front of you. So I basically sprint, push people out of the way, knock them down, whatever else, to get over to you before anyone else comes over to you, so I can sit down and have this conversation with you to try to get you on my show. So thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for forcing yourself into the crowd and getting there. Yes, that shows very good moxie.
Yeah, and see, my wife's confirming it. Let's be honest, we stalked him for a chance to talk to him.
That's all right.
So So, anyways, let's start and let's go ahead and have you introduce yourself and let you
Sure.
tell people about who you are and what you do.
Oh, excellent. Well, like you said, my name is Wayne Brekke, and I think today we're
Excuse
really
me.
going to talk a lot about the rune stuff. So I do a lot with runes right now. I have a moniker of Rune Ways. That's my website, but I've been doing rune readings for a few years, actually. I've taught clinics and classes. I have I make runes and sell them. And but yeah, I mean, the rune reading stuff that I've been doing, and I think Mystic Fest, so Mystic Fest was put on by Next Millennium Bookstore. I do a lot of in-store readings there once a month. Every first Monday you'll find me down there reading runes as well. And then I do video rune readings for people, and then I do private events and things like that.
So, explain to people kind of what runes are, because not everyone
Yeah.
has an understanding of what they are.
So yeah, and the way to say it is runes. A lot of people call them
Right.
ruins, and it's
Yeah.
runes. It's a rune.
Runes.
The rune is
Yes.
actually the symbols. So runes are much like for divination. Let's just put runes into a divination aspect, because divination with runes is a very modern thing. They didn't necessarily use runes for divination so much in the Viking Age as you might think. But what runes are symbols, and what we use for divination is the Elder Futhark. And it's a set of 24 runes, and they're just symbols. And each rune, just like a tarot card, has a specific meaning. And as you lay them out or cast them, they can offer you insight on your past, your present, your future, what's going on. And yeah, and they look like, and I have some right here. These are ones that I made. I made them larger because over COVID, I was doing a lot of video rune readings, and my eyesight's not getting any better, and nobody else's is. And so with the camera, I usually have two cameras. So these are bigger. So they're more like tiles, but these are what runes are. You'll notice that there are some very familiar symbols here that you can see. But these are just 3 runes here. But these are the runes, and yeah, I lay them out, and we, much like tarot, each rune has a specific meaning, connotation, depending on what other runes it's by. Much like in tarot, it can alter the reading. If it's forward or reverse, it will have a different meaning as well. So yeah, those are the runes. Like I said, it's mainly the Elder Futhark, and they call it a Futhark because the very first 6 runes in the or 5 runes in the series spells out F-U, and then Thuris as TH, and then ARK, so they call it a Futhark. But yeah, so I've kind of always been involved in the story to me. Reading the runes is interesting because I was adopted when I was 6 weeks old. My parents raised me, and I had I started into Buddhism when I was 15. But throughout that, I was into things like Wicca and stuff, even as a teenager, and my parents are very open about stuff. But I was really like, the one class that I got an A in was Norse mythology. That was really great.
Right.
And horrifying at the same time, because Norse mythology is actually awesome, but also scary. And Greek mythology and all of that. And I think it was one of those things where it just took a while. Like, you have to go through a whole lot of experience, especially if you have abilities and whatnot, and you're working towards your life goal or whatever you're doing. I was into my later years, like I said, the past 15 years, really, as far as really getting into runes. And that was from being a fan of fantasy and Tolkien and the Dwarven runes, and be able to use different languages like that, but not necessarily divination until later. So, but everything that I was doing before that, and I've done a whole lot of things, you'd be amazed, led me up to being able to do divination for other people. And that's, I think, the one thing that I take from all of this is, then one day I just found a rune book, found some runes at the Next Millennium Bookstore, actually. And it was like a strike of lightning. It just was like, wait, I've seen these before. I didn't even know these were used for divination. Why do I know how to do these? I can, oh, well, I was just fully in, and I didn't really want to do them for other people because I thought, I'm just making stuff up, man. I'm just,
Right. Yeah.
oh, yeah, it's random stuff. Here's what's happening in your future. I'm like, really? I took a whole lot of time though, and I went to all these different practitioners, psychic mediums, tarot readers, all these different people to see how they did it and watch how they presented it, how they presented themselves, watch their other clients that they had before and after me. And I just felt a calling. I felt a pull, like, wow, this is something different. And, and it wasn't about just pulling random things and telling people what those cards mean. It was actually connecting with spirit. And so that was a thing that had to take practice to do. And pretty soon I was encouraged by some of these. Yeah, I blame Kelly Miller actually for forcing me into this.
She's actually going to be on the show later. So
really good. Yeah, I blame her for all of this because I had her on my podcast years ago, and she helped me with a whole bunch of stuff. Oh man. And she kept telling me when I got into the room, she's like, I knew you had abilities. I knew you were going to do this. And you want to teach a class? You should teach a class. You need to read for other people. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't want to read for them. And she made me do it, made me do classes, and it was great. And I thank her for all of it. But
now you realize she was right. So
yeah, she was, of course, because she's a psychic. And she's good. So. And it was weird because nobody else was doing this. And right. I felt like there was a need, especially the next millennium. I think their rune reader had passed away a few years back. They gave me the chance and had me in there, and that was fantastic. And I remember the day that I did a customer appreciation day where they have a bunch of readers in a room and everybody gets to come in. It was like one after the other. The first time I was put to the test, and they were coming in, and I just talked to every single person, and they were from all walks of life.
Right.
And I realized why I did all these different jobs, because I've been everything. I've been a touring musician, an artist, a firefighter, an entrepreneur, a vacuum cleaner salesman, a salesperson. I've been all these things, and I was like, what am I supposed to do with my life? And I realized at that moment that, wow, that's why I did all those things. Jack of all trades, a master of none.
Yeah, because you did a lot.
Because
you're back.
But you wonder why you have those life experiences. But sometimes it's when later in life that I found the runes, and I found that I could identify with a lot of different people in many different ways. Just have just a little connection, which is much more authentic than not. Than having one person just not having any type of experience with, everything from dealing with, I don't know. Dealing with death, dealing with emergency as a first responder. As I was a firefighter in the Air Force for 5 years, and dealing with that, dealing with all these different things throughout your careers, and it really just opened up it was like, oh my gosh, this is what I was supposed to do in my later life. Okay, great. Right. I still have to do all these other things to make some money, but also do these things. So yeah.
Yeah. So Debbie says, I just bought my first set of runes not long ago. They're carved into mystic merlinite crystals. I haven't learned to read them yet.
Yes, mystic merlinite. That is indigo gabbro. One of the things I learned once I got hired. Actually, the next millennium ended up hiring me. Here's the weird, interesting story about the crystals. I like to use a lot of crystals with runes. And when I started reading it at Next Millennium, I found that they were looking for people. And I'm like, I don't want to work there. Although I was helping people and everything, I'm like, and I know they needed help. And I was like, I was reading there one day, and I heard this voice in my head, and it said, talk to her, as Laura was walking by, the manager. And I was like, no. I'm like, no.
No, you can't make
business. I own 2 businesses. I don't need to work. And I'm working on a third. Why would I want to work for somebody else? It makes no sense. She walked by again, and I heard, talk to her. I'm like, okay, so go up. And I talk to them. And as it happens, I get hired. And now I get hired because everybody there, the owner, Charlie, he was like, should we hire this guy? Is he all right? And everybody's like, yes, please hire him. He's great. And so that has been the biggest thing that has opened up my rune reading and everything. Hello. And so doing that, working in the rock room, working with the crystals, I realized there's a lot of correlations between rune working and all the other things. So I get to work with everybody. I get to work with the Egyptian pantheon, the Norse pantheon, every pantheon, the Hoodoo. I get to work with the Greek pantheon. All these different people come in of all walks of life, and they all come to us because they need help. And we give them that, which is different than most stores. But the rocks is great. So runes on a specific crystal actually allow you to utilize that crystal's energies, even if you carry one of them around with you, like on a daily rune pool, which is really cool.
Right.
Indigo Gabbro being one, like I said, Mystic Merlin. It's a really good one for working in magic. So if you do any type of intentional ceremonies on your altar with your runes that are of Indigo Gabbro, then that's a really good one to use for manifesting things and making magical spells and things happen.
Yeah. So earlier, Miss Jamie states that she used to write on her playing cards so she didn't have to remember all the cards.
Mm-hmm.
And she posted with ruins, LOL, because no one else knew what it said. So
yeah. Of course.
So interesting, yeah. So you mentioned, I'm going to bring this up because you mentioned it before, that you have basically, I know you mentioned a couple of them, and thank you for your service doing the firefighter in the military. I appreciate that. But you said you've done a lot of other walks of life in the past, and I know that you used to have a podcast that you ran for a very long time.
Podcasting, yes.
Yeah, so that was something you did a lot too. Now, was this something you talked about on your podcast, or were you talking about this type of information on your podcast, or was it a totally different realm of stuff that you talked about on your podcast?
It was a totally different thing. So I was in a band, and I wanted to get my band on the radio. So I've been a musician for 30 years, and I've toured the country, just played with a bunch of different bands, made a bunch of different records, signed to a label, blah, blah, blah. But at one point I was doing a podcast. I was working for a magazine in town, and I was getting these interviews. I was an entertainment writer. So I was working and writing and getting interviews from all these different celebrities and all these different musicians that would come play in Omaha. Right. And I thought, wow, this podcasting is kind of cool. I wanted my band on the radio one time, so I decided to become a radio DJ for the local college radio station just to get my band on the radio. It worked, and it was great. And I thought maybe I could do the same thing with podcasting, and I started. And Adam Curry was the guy who he was an MTV DJ, and he coined the term podcast. And I remember working in different things like that. And so I started podcasting back in early 2000s. So about 18 years right now, I think, maybe more. I know my math is weird. But it was all interviews with these people that I'd write about. And it was cool because I had an audio version of the interview so that I can write and pull straight from the quotes. And it was great. But I thought this would be fantastic to make a podcast. I had a show called Worlds of Wayne because I was into all these different things and I didn't want to constrain myself to one thing. And I've interviewed everybody from Ace Frehley to oh my gosh, Colin Hay, Billy Ray Cyrus, you name it, just tons of weird people and all this stuff. And it was then after that I did about 6 different podcasts. So we did one on freelancing. I also had a show for about almost 10 years called Necronomicast, which was just the co-host that I was with kind of bought me out of it. He's taking it forward with his stuff, and I'm working on now other podcasts. But if you look up Necronomicast, we interviewed all sorts of horror celebrities too, the same thing. And started that back in the day. So yeah, I've had probably about 6 podcasts altogether. Dungeon Crate podcast too. Still got a Runeways podcast. If you want to learn about runes, I have that going on Spotify. But yeah, podcasting was just a thing back in the day that not many people were doing, at least in my area. So it was super fun to be able to talk to everybody, and I didn't have to worry about being on video either. So my studio was way different. So I could get on there. Not that it wasn't filled with problems, because the tech back then was not what we have now. So
Yeah. Well, that's like you're being on a military base that's looks like it belongs in the
Yeah.
bottom of a bunker somewhere, and
You might be
every
using your
single
phone as a hotspot.
I may be using my phone as a hotspot because every single wall in here is a cinder block wall. Yeah, that could be the reason why.
You're in a fortress of solitude, my friend.
Right. That's a better word than prison. Yes, that's a much better word than prison.
Oh, much better word than prison. Yeah, you can actually walk out the door. So, yeah.
But now you're branching out to, and this is where we're going to bring this in because everybody listen up. This is the first time he's going to talk about this. You're branching out into other things. Oh, yeah, I'm doing it right now. You're branching out into other things, and this is the big announcement that we're going to be the first ones to catch this information right from the source himself.
Yes.
What are you doing right now?
I am just finishing up the final edits to a book I'm working on from Rockridge Press called Complete Guide to Runes. And I think I can talk about it now. I haven't told anybody to put it on me, like I said. But I've been working the past few months on a book that, and here's the weird story about this, is that for the past year, I've been working on a book.
Right.
I don't know why, but all these psychic mediums, friends of mine and whatnot that I would go and get consultation from, had always been telling me, "What? I see you're writing a book." Right. And I'm like, "All right, fine. I'm writing a book." I didn't know what to do. I mean, I also own a copywriting business for like 18 years with my wife. We write product descriptions and copy, for thousands and thousands. We've done that for years. So I'm familiar with writing. So I was just writing out what I knew and the things that I wanted that I didn't get from all these other rune books. I wanted it all in one place. And so I was just vomiting it out on my Google Docs, right? But I kept getting mediums that were telling me they see me doing this. They see me writing. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. Well, then I get an email out of the blue, and it happens to be a publishing company, and they wanted me to work on this book. And it was originally since they own all the copyright to the book, they wanted me to kind of make additions to it. But after I started working with them, they were like, "No, we want you to write the whole thing now." Okay, so now I got to use everything that I've been working on the past year that I didn't think I was doing anything with other than maybe publishing myself. And now I get to do it in a way where they take care of all the publishing. They take care of all the artwork. They take care of all of the stuff I just don't want to do as a copywriter. I'm not an author per se. I'm a copywriter, but I also have something to say, and they let me do all of it. So all my own descriptions, everything in there. And the whole book now is my words, is my words, use guarantees, all's rights, and lots of exclamation points. I think every sentence ends with an exclamation point. No, it does not. But it is it just ended up being this weird kind of synchronicity that happened with people telling me that I need to write it. I didn't know it, so I followed my instincts and wrote it, and I got to use a whole lot of what I wrote earlier on this project. And so within a couple months hopefully, we're gonna have a book that will be available online, will be available in your local bookstores, including Next Millennium Bookstore and anywhere else. Hopefully Kelly will carry it, and Awakenings as well. Yes, Kelly Miller, by the way, if you don't know, owns Awakenings.
Yes.
We talked to her earlier, so I want to make sure that you know that as well, who's branching out and all sorts of stuff. I had her on my podcast before she even was reading, before she got into Awakenings, before she was even really doing reading as a profession. She was still working at her other job, not sure, but man, she liked me. She if I could ever find that out. I paid for Worlds of Wayne for a long time, and you might still be able to find them, but I don't know.
So I'm gonna make this offer to you, because that's just when you get that book out there and you get that out and you know it's ready for sale and everything else, you already know my site. Throw your advertisement up on my site.
Oh, thank you.
I'll let you. Yeah, I don't mind. Just throw that out there. Let everyone know you got a book out. Here's my book.
Give you a book.
Everything else. So
I'll give you a book in return. So yes.
So a couple of people are commenting on this. My wife's the first one. She said, "That's so exciting. Jamie was going to want you to put this on Audible." And then Jamie follows up right away and says, "Nicole, I was just thinking this would not be that kind of book, but although it'd be awesome narrated by you.
Right.
So-
I can get a really good mic and it can be like, and now, the complete guide to runes, as read by Wayne Brekke.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, yeah. An audiobook would be great. Although I always think the Lori is way better at reading. She read to us so many books. She read to my kids the books. I had to stay in for them. She's such a But I'm like, oh my gosh. So the one thing, speaking of Audible, is like if you guys are interested in Norse stuff and you want to learn about Norse mythology, Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology is a fantastic book, and better yet, listen to the audiobook because it's like, oh, his voice is amazing, and you just melt into it. You're like, oh, it's like Snape reading to me only. It's like, oh my gosh, his accent, his voice, everything, and the stories are all authentic and they're fantastic. So
what's his accent?
That too. He just reminds me of Snape, Professor Snape, Alan Rickman. His voice is much like the same. I think, I don't know if they're from the same area, but his voice is the same as like Alan Rickman, and the way he intones his different characters throughout it is fantastic, and you buy right into it. I've listened to it over and over. I'm just like, oh, please, Neil Gaiman. Talk me to sleep.
My wife's telling me I should read that one. I have a Norse background as far as I'm part Norse and I'm part Native American, so I'm a weird combination. But I don't really know much about either one of them. So
oh, good.
so
the thing is that
that'd be good for me to read.
And the Native American both, so I'm also involved in a lot of stuff like that too. I got involved with a friend of mine, which was a background of mine way back in the day too. Norse and Native American, actually Buddhist too. All three work very well together. You'd be very surprised at how much these, and some people would disagree, but I am not those people. But they all correlate and they all work really well together. So everything you do, if you research Native American history and traditions based off of different locales, as well as Norse mythology and how they view nature and whatnot.
I have looked at that. Yeah.
It mixes really well, and it's a beautiful thing. So and that's what I call, and that's the thing that you're not going to read in this book, because I saved that back for myself, is the term rune weaver, which I consider anybody that takes runes and weaves them into their own metaphysical practice, whether they're Wiccan, heathen, Christian, anything. That's weaving. That's a rune weaver, and that's like, to me, I think I'm all about blending in as many types of practices, or at least recognizing them, as much as possible. So
yeah. So Debbie, reaching back a little bit, Debbie just said, "Yep, she does. She's followed Kelly for years."
Yes.
So yeah, I just recently met Kelly at one of the shows. As a matter of fact, I actually saw her at both the shows, but I was only able to actually grab a hold of her and talk to her at one of them. Yeah. And because I was at the I don't remember which one's before that. It was Mystic Fest. Was one that was before that we were at. But she was at both of them, and I tried to talk to her at one, but she was, oh my God, busy. And I was able to corner her at the Mystic Fest for a couple of minutes. And she's like, here's my information. Get a hold of me. We'll talk afterwards. And I did that. She's been fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's really nice.
I just walked by and yelled at her.
Right. That's pretty much what we kind of did too. So
yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see the progression of people locally here too, that have really, between retail and metaphysical practice and whatnot. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I've been in the music circles here in Omaha. I've been in the art circles in Omaha in big ways. And I've been in the business circles, and the metaphysical circles are another thing. Omaha is very diverse in that way, but they're very strong in their circles. Like whatever you have, it's very strong. And there's some, it's a roller coaster in each one. You know,
Right.
bands
Yeah,
are all like
yeah.
whatever bands, and metaphysical people are all like whatever with other metaphysical people. But it's robust, and that to me is, I think, really cool about Omaha. You know how robust
Yeah,
it is.
well, and that's what that's what it was. She said it was the Holistic Fest or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we went to that one, but and that was one thing that I like is that I was able to a lot of my guests, you, Astara, Orion's going to be on there. Christy Peterson was on here.
Yeah, Christy, she was my neighbor. She lives right down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't even finish her book. Freaked me out. I'm like, that was happening like 2 blocks away. Are you kidding me?
You're like, I live right here.
Like, stay back. God, I put a dome of protection over my head. Like, come on, leave me alone.
Right.
What the hell, man? Oh gosh, if you guys haven't yet, yeah, Christy, go back and watch that, and then try and read her book. But me, I was just like, I've been to your house, man. What the hell?
Right. I know. You're like, no, I don't want to know this. What if they get the wrong house?
Yeah.
You're waking up going, Christy's that way.
No. Yeah.
Leave me alone.
There's somebody better over there for you. I
Right.
hug her. I'm like, I'm my favorite alien abductee. As long as it is not me.
Right.
That's my mantra.
Yeah, but that's what's been really cool is I've been able to pull a lot of the talent from here locally. And it's been really nice because you guys have been, I mean, it's been outstanding because you all are, you know, I mean, you're so authentic and you're so knowledgeable in what you guys are doing. And I haven't known this. I've lived here since 2001 and my show has actually only been going since January. So I've only been doing this now for 8 months.
You're just a tiny baby.
I am, but I only realized I had abilities about 1.5 years ago. So in the 1.5 years, I have realized all this new information about my community, that you guys are all here, and so it's good because as everyone knows, the show's kind of designed for the same process. If you're learning about stuff or anything else, this is a great community for people to come to listen to and to learn from, which makes me ask my next question to you. So you do the rune readings, kind of like the divination thing and everything else. Do you know, obviously you would know if you know this, do you have any other abilities that you can share with us?
Besides being a mad skilled drummer, amazing or not. No,
that's just a given. So
no, that's weird. No, I avoid it weirdly because I have for a long time really shut down. I mean, seriously, I shut it down a long time ago. I was like, I don't want to see things. And I tell people to this day when I'm doing rune readings that, look, I'm not a psychic medium. I don't want to, I don't see people, so I don't want to see your grandma. I want to. Well, my people, my spirit guides, talk to your spirit guides and people, and then we get this stuff. So during this process, I have learned not only a greater communication with spirit guides, guardian angels, things like that. I've had an awakening on things, different realities, possibilities, things like that. But I've kind of come to the realization of, I guess I never knew they were, and a lot of people might resonate with this, is that you don't know you have abilities until you realize you have abilities, but you've had them all the time.
Yes.
Or you turn them back on later in life. And I feel like I've had the ability to read people. Like I for the most part, my only weakness is I always think the best sometimes of people, but I can read people really well and work and get along with a lot of different people. And for some reason, when I see somebody and I look them in the eye, or I can get into their personality, who they are, and be able to relate to them, whether they're a Hell's Angel, or they're a homeless person, or they're some celebrity that I'm chatting with.
Yep.
That was weird to me. And then also being able to attune to a divination process and a magical process and accept it and know that my instincts of were right. And then all of a sudden, these weird synchronicities were happening. I'd either do spell work or rune work or just kind of focus on my abilities, you might say, my empathy or whatever. And we're all, by the way, we're all empathic. Yes, I know you're an empath.
Yes,
we're all empathic.
Who, me?
Who,
me?
Yeah.
No
Oh,
way.
you're gonna tell me. Everybody's gonna tell me. I'm empathic. But yes, we're all empathic. But getting to know that you are in different levels was the thing. So it's really more about, when they say an awakening, for me, it was more of a realization that, yeah, I had this and this and this. I have more, I don't know, I have people skills and I have intuition and I have my ability to connect with my people. And that's really all I'm focused on. And that's all I kind of want. I mean, I really would like to see fairies now and then. That'd be awesome.
Right.
Now and then. I would like, I don't really want to see paranormal stuff. I don't go ghost hunting. I don't do any of that. I don't do any paranormal hunting because I read for people and I feel like I can't do that. If I'm reading for people, I don't want to take the chance of bringing anything to that. I'm already a Scorpio, for crying out loud. I don't need to bring any more like baggage to the reading. So I need to just I needed to separate and be able to be okay with that. And I think boundaries are a big thing. Yeah. But yeah, that's about the extent of what I think my abilities are.
Well, Jamie's telling you
I could drink a few beers and have some, tequila. That's also a talent, right? That's an ability. It helps it. Yeah. Think about that, but it's also, it's weird communicating with the gods and whatnot when you do.
Right.
But he's offering alcohol. I'm like, why?
Jamie's saying she could not imagine not seeing dead people. And then Melody follows up with, that would just be too quiet.
Oh, you guys are just weird, man. Oh, I do not envy you. Yeah. You're weird in all the lovely ways. When I say weird, it's a term of love because I am terrified of that. I really don't want to see them.
Well, what's funny is the first time I saw it, when I started seeing dead people or just spirit or shadow people, I see them all now. It's crazy. But I was like, dude, something is not right. I was like, why is this happening all of a sudden out of nowhere? But apparently I've been doing it for a very long time, many, many different lives. I just did not know it until someone happened to point me in that direction. And Jamie's saying Scorpio literally work with the dead naturally. So there you go.
Yes, but I also think that job title has many different functions, just like every other job title. I can work with it. I can work with the dead. I have my people. I have them all here. I don't need to see them. I don't need to see them. I work with the dead on a different phone line, you might say.
Right.
Because I am, yes. Yeah, and but that's always been a thing. But yeah, it's I really, and here's the weird thing. I've never seen Bigfoot. I've never seen a UFO. I've never seen a ghost, although I've had things touch me and pull me and they interact with me, but I'm like, nope, not seeing a full apparition. Fuck, I mean, stop with that. No mess, nonsense. No. But I'm not afraid necessarily, but it doesn't matter because I think they all cast fear spells anyways. And I can be jumpy if my cat jumps on me, for crying out loud. Like, come on. But I mean, it's like, I don't want to see that because I think my mission is different when it comes to what I'm here for. I'm on one of my last lives, if not the last one. And I've been told that several times. And I think it's like, I'm here to help other people with their stuff. I don't need to go exploring. I know it inherently. Like I'm accepting of all the things, even though I haven't seen them or experienced them. I'm accepting because I don't want to be like surprised when the aliens do come down. Everybody's like, you're just crazy, really. But now if they come down, I'm like, oh no, of course I knew that. I watch Ancient Aliens. God, I'm on Gaia. Jeez, I know all that.
Right, and I was going to ask you about that too, because you talked about you've never seen a Bigfoot, you've never seen an alien, but you believe in all this. You have an understanding that, I mean, it's all there. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I mean, that's if you're really going to go to the religious side of the house, that's hello.
What do you think every religion does? Every religion,
right.
every Christian religion, all of it is all about, hey, we're going to tell you this stuff, and then you just have to believe it. And so
Right.
why can't I believe in all of it without actually seeing it? Because they haven't
Right.
seen God, they haven't seen Jesus, they haven't seen none of that stuff. And yet here I am, I'm like the same thing, but I'm going to believe in it. But what I know is that there are people in my family even that have seen full body apparitions, that have watched things fly across the room, that have watched drawers open, doors open, and chairs rock by themselves. And they're like, no. So I'm like, yeah, I'm also new. But I know that they're not lying. I know they've actually seen it. I know people. I trust my friend who's written a book about alien abduction that it was real. All right. I'm going to choose to believe in that. And if you don't, then you're in your own small, sad, tiny bubble of a world. And sorry for you. You know?
Yeah. And Debbie says, wait until you see a spirit of a Bigfoot. Mind blown.
What? No.
So
just standing over somebody while I'm giving a reading.
Right.
Man, I told you. And I tell people this all the time, like, demons got a demon. They're all freaked out about demons doing demon shit. And I'm like, here's the thing, is that, you know, put yourself in their job working shoes. It's not unlike what we see on TV. Demons got a demon. The negative entities got to do negative entity stuff. That's what they like.
This is what I do for a living.
What makes a tiger evil for eating an elk? You know, that it caught a baby one, for that matter. We don't yell at that. Yeah, you're gonna yell at a demon for trying to drink your milkshake because you're all messed up and it's on you. And, you know, so yeah, we can take care of these things. You know, it's nature, it's life, it's just that whole thing. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying.
And Melody's saying she has to tell a ghost in her house not to move stuff, and then but then she says, "And they still do."
Mm-hmm. Because we're like, but we're ghosts.
Yeah. What are you gonna do to us?
Oh, is that irritating you? How about this?
So let me ask you that then. You don't investigate, you don't do that type of stuff because you don't want it to interfere, as you said, with what you're doing and everything else. You just don't want to take that in. But have you had the experience of something unexplained happen around you, or in a place you're like, ooh, that ain't right, or just like, ooh, that's weird. That's not normal. Physics can't explain that.
So I've definitely had experiences. So before I even started reading runes, I worked at a pizza shop called The Pizza Shop, and it was in Benson, and Benson is notoriously, where I live, is notoriously haunted. Every place. I'm telling you, every business owner I know has stories. Excuse me. And so this time I worked there, and we hated going to the basement because it was just ludicrously stupid haunted. And she kept all sorts of stupid shit down there, like dolls and mannequins and like seriously, man, why?
Yeah.
And she put toys down there because there were ghosts of children down there, and they would move them, and she thought they would like them. And then we're like, great. And I got to go get fucking paper towels. Sorry, but this is how traumatizing it was.
Hold on. I got something for that. Hold on one second.
Yes,
there we go.
Yes, please. Thank you. Even
We're good now.
My live streams are full of swear words, and sorry, your kids should not be up now, anyways. Anyway, but I remember going down in the basement one time, and I had shorter hair, and it was kind of spiky because it was in the 90s, so I had the gel that you do.
Oh yeah.
And I know you had it too. You're
yes,
like the 90s. I don't know, but I felt somebody plucking seriously plucking my hair, and I kept looking up, and I was not moving, and I'm like, stop! What are you doing? Plucking my hair. First time. Other times have really just been more recently. I had an experience, things like when I'm reading, I had one experience where, so I had a couple that came in and got a reading. They were talking about their grandmother or their mother. I'm not sure. I think maybe the mother that had passed away, and it got teary and it was fine. I had a small stone in my hand. It was about this big. It was just in my hand. And it was celestite, and celestite is a stone that really connects you with the divine, and the connects you with spirit. And I gave him the same speech as I just told you. I didn't want to see your grandmother or whatever. I just wanted to.
Right.
We were talking about how they were trying to connect and all this, and all of a sudden I was holding my hand here, and I heard a snap in my hand. A snap. I wasn't moving my hand. I opened it up, and the celestite stone had broken in half, into two pieces. And all of a sudden, I got this image of the grandmother going, as if she was, from my perspective, giving each half to the couple. I got goosebumps. I started to cry, and I gave it to him. We were all crying. It was crazy, but that kind of thing happens. I was doing a clearing and a blessing for a friend of mine's bar that he just opened up, and it was an old school bar where they're professional drinkers there, and but he was taking it over, making minor changes, but we did blessing and clearing, and I had gone into a specific area that he felt was still, I feel he had actually wanted us to come in because he had felt like they made him kind of sick. And so we went in there and did a clearing and did a blessing, and literally I was in there and I felt something pull my shirt back. I'm like, I just ran into a box or something. I turn around, there's like nothing behind me. I'm like, man, but even before that, it was we were getting ready to do blessing, and there was on a table a big 5-gallon bucket and some other stuff. And I was getting ready to light the sage and whatnot, and the bucket just goes and just made a dramatic crash onto the floor. But at that point, I looked at it. I'm like, hey, this is happening regardless of what you think.
Right.
Clearing this place, and that's it. And this is my attitude. I'm not scared at all. You can't fear spell me because I am now disbelieving. And you go into it. So those kind of things happen, but not really. I have literally, but my family has seen full body apparitions walk through their house, interact with them, children in their closets, furniture moving on its own. I've known plenty of my family that has had all those experiences. And my mother-in-law's a shaman. She's just amazingly great with healing, and everybody's very sensitive. So makes for an interesting family for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. Yeah. I had I know someone else who grew up and their family was all about the dark arts. It was all about the dark witchcraft and everything else. And that's the house he grew up in. So that's kind of interesting too. So Jamie's saying that she would rather deal with the negative entities than the dolls.
Right.
And Debbie's saying that.
About it.
Debbie's saying that she heard somewhere that dolls were originally created to be vessels for the spirits. She believed it was in China, but she could be wrong. So we'll reserve judgment there, Debbie. But thank you for the information. Someone needs to do a fact check on Debbie. Come on, Debbie. No, just kidding.
I don't know, man. I'll just believe it regardless. I don't care. I just said that. I will just take it because one time I was playing in a band and we were out of town and we stayed at this Airbnb, and it was literally like the commercial you see now where the dolls are like, the girl sneezes and the dolls all turn and go, Gesundheit. And it was like, ah! No, I walked in this Airbnb. It was it wasn't an Airbnb. It was a bed and breakfast, literally a bed and breakfast. Beautiful house. Walk into the room. It's got a big bed, couple of shelves, wall-to-wall dolls all along the bed. 2 rows of dolls on the bed, for crying out loud, everywhere. I was like, what the hell? So we played the show. I got really drunk and didn't even turn on lights when I came back to the place.
You're like, nope.
I'm like, I'm not going to look at anybody. Nope. I'm going to drink enough to just pass out and wake up in the morning, not look at anything, get up, leave the room. Yes, dolls can shut up. Dolls can shut up. Although American Girl dolls, when my kids had those, I would just like move them around, put them in the house. It's hilarious to scare the kids with American Girl dolls. My daughter still to this day you know, was just like, oh, I used to squeeze that thing. Go, I know you come to life at night. Don't you mess with me. Yeah, dolls are evil.
Yes, I would have to agree. Nicole's saying that she thinks that holidays at your place would have to be a great time.
Oh, they are. My house is a perpetual Harry Potter house. We have candles still up, and we have Diagon Alley on one of the walls. Holidays, yeah. We cook amazing food. Everybody come over for the holidays. It'd be awesome. My wife would love it.
Well, she's listening too, so you heard that. So I know I don't know if she's still on here, but she was on here earlier. So we have the invite. It's on tape. It's out there for everybody who's going to watch this later on too. Remember, it's not just the 7 to 10 people that watch now, but the thousands that we'll be watching by the end of the week. So everybody's showing up at Wayne's.
I got a big.
Everybody showed up at Wayne's house.
Right. We have
I heard it.
Fights here. We have holidays and birthdays. We do it up. For my birthday, I used to do what I call Durin's Day. And so all my friends had kids, right? They get to that age when you're like, God dang it, all my friends have kids now. They can't do shit. So I'm like, and you don't want to invite them over for your party because they'll bring your kids. And you're like, come on, man. So I would do Durin's Day, and I would say, bring your kids. We're doing it during the day. Everybody dress up. I make 20 foam swords. We put on a LARPing activity in the backyard. All the parents will get hurt from sword fighting, but all the kids will have fun, and we do scavenger hunts and everything. It was fun. Yeah.
So there's been a lot of these comments, but this one will sum it up all in one fell swoop. We are all coming.
Oh my God.
and then to back it up, your beautiful wife has stated, sure, come on over. So
he's dying to host.
There you go.
Amazing cook. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We have had legendary parties here at the Bedford house. Yeah. The younger years.
He's got a Harry Potter stuff and Lord of the Rings fan. So I'm I was actually going to turn into that. So what do you know? We're going to start talking about that now. In fact, I'm going to throw this up there really quick before we get into it. So everybody who doesn't know this right here, these two wonderful sites, facebook.com Dungeon Crate and dungeoncrate.com. It turns out that this fantabulous man here actually owns a store called Dungeon Crate, as you can tell from the shirt. So that's what he was rising up. He wasn't just levitating himself, but he was showing the shirt that he actually had. But he may have been levitating to show you the shirt. I don't know. But he has this store and here in Omaha, Nebraska. And I have actually had friends that have, when I saw the site and I showed the advertisements that you had posted out when you were walking around with everything, and they were all ecstatic to go check out your store. So they have been to your store now. And they were like, oh, and then of course I need feedback to make sure that it's, that it's worth the crap and you're not just blowing smoke up, and they were all like, dude, this store is awesome. I'm going back. I want to buy stuff. They really wanted to buy. So I will tell you the one thing they wanted to buy, but I don't know if you would sell it, but they were afraid to ask.
I'm not selling the He-Man thing. It's not mine.
No, they wanted.
Skull is not mine.
They wanted to buy your D&D table with the throne at the end of it.
Oh my God! Yes. That one you can't buy either. That's my game group.
That's what I told them. I said, no, you can't buy that. So go ahead and explain the store, because it's a pretty cool place.
So it's not just a store. It started right now. I just opened it up as a pop-up store. The thing is, Dungeon Crate is the world's first Dungeons and Dragons RPG accessory subscription box. Accessory subscription box. I started about 7 years ago. I think we're on year 7, and I was the first. And I came back from Gen Con one year, freaked out, loved the vendors, and loved buying all the stuff. And I'm like, I gotta make a subscription. I want to go buy a sub box that gives me all this fun stuff. I want to get dice every month. I don't want to get minis every month. I want to get all the stuff. I searched it and nobody had anything.
6 years ago.
Come on, $9.99 is still $10. Okay, it's still $9. I mean, wait a minute. We're working in reverse. But and I couldn't find one, so I was like, well, I want to do a business. I'm an entrepreneur, and I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since 1983.
Yeah.
So we came up with Dungeon Crate, and I started with my partner Bill, and then, we just wanted to give just a monthly subscription box of stuff. So dice, miniatures. We wrote our own adventures. We do our own artwork. We just come up with anything that would be cool to have at the table. Before people were really even doing a ton of that. And then we would get all these other vendors that that were doing dice and all this, and I get to bring them in and give that to people and put it together and theme it and all that. So we did that, and we're doing that. Been doing that for now, like I said, 6 years.
Very cool.
And now we've just started to open up locally as a retail store because I really kind of like the face-to-face, and I want to meet people, and we have a big space. We have game tables. We have
a huge space.
Dragons, and I want to buy more stuff. I want to buy stuff that I can't put in my crate. So that I would love to just share with you. And so, that's kind of where we're at now. We're doing the Dungeon Crate Curios, which is the space where we're doing our fulfillment. And so far it's great. I got the one comment I wanted out of somebody. I said, I just want to have a store where people come to me and they just love the stuff and it just makes them shit. And I had a girl come in and she goes, I got to bring my brother here because he's just giving me shit. And I was like, yes.
Right.
I created it. This is it. So yes, please don't shit in my place, but I really want you to when you come in. Yes, please. And the online store. So we're offering all of that too online. So we always have Dungeon Crate the subscription is online. We can get a digital crate that's also online. You can just get the digital crate, or you get the regular subscription, which comes with the digital crate. And you can also just buy all that stuff right there online. All the dice. I've got some cool dice. This is what it looks like. This is a Dungeon Crate box. And one cool thing about Dungeon Crate is I wanted to do things differently than every other. There were 3 other people that came out after me that copied basically a lot of the stuff that I did. And so I just switched it up every time they did. But I want everything to be usable, right? I didn't want people to just throw stuff away. They get it. Packaging is terrible. Everything. So I wanted a cool box. A. Yep. B. You're going to use the cool box for storage. Why not put something up here where you can write what you have in your box while it's on the shelf? I do that. Also, inside the box, we've got crate coins. So if you, just like those UPC symbols when you're a kid, you cut them out, and you send them in, and you rip out the comic book page and you circle the X-ray specs and you send in the thing and it get back your X-ray specs or your decoder ring. That's what these are. You cut them out, you go to our site, you look on crate coins, and I made a thing where you can print, you have to print it out, literally send me back these things via snail mail and circle your thing, tell me what you want, and I send you free stuff just by collecting these. I wanted everything to be usable, everything from the paper, which lights on fire really well. It's very flammable. Crate paper is really flammable. You should light fires with the tissue. It's so fun. But also things like our insert. People were looking at our insert. What's in the box? Oh, we have this lovely insert. And they go, oh, that's cool. And toss it. And I'm like, wait, why don't we put terrain on the back? Right. So that they don't toss it out. Now they can use every single insert. They can cut these up and make them into just, endless dungeons right here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we work that. Otherwise, we have fun stuff that we put in, like makers that like hit point counters and miniatures from Reaper, giant D20s from Metallic Dice Games, our own adventures. We wanted to make I wanted you to have like magic items and things that you can show the players, big ones. So this is what we did. On the back, stack cards. So the DM right there. Very cool. You're going to keep those. We write all of our own adventures in-house. We have like 3 people that write our adventures for us, including myself, even Lori, and our partner, Matt, does all the artwork for 6 years. He's done the artwork. It's crazy amount of artwork he does. And so, we have all of that. And that's what I offer every month. In the store, you can find fun other bigger things that I can't put in the crate, like this painter's handle from Cuts and Burns, which he has just shown me has a. You can turn this right here. I'm just going to preview this because I haven't done that before yet. Oh, and you can pull it out and replace it with other ones of these. Oh, wait, there's my camera. Hold on. And at the top, we have a paint pot that you can also replace.
Very nice.
You can have multiples, a little brush handle. So you can brush it.
Which is funny you say that, because my son actually paints models. And he's been doing it, and I think I have to introduce him to stuff you have.
Does he want one of these? I would be glad to give him one of these if he wants to try it out. Kind of test it for us. I've used it a bit. I like it.
I'm sure he would, because right now he has to use the stand where he has the magnifying glass set up. He's got to position it just right and everything else. Well, this is what he could actually just hold and bring it to him instead of him having to go to it. But yeah,
right.
So that's
and it turns, so you can turn it any way you want. Boop, boop, boop.
Oh, that'd be. Yeah, because he does all the little intricate painting. He does the dry painting. He does airbrushing. He does all that stuff. Yeah. So, in fact, I'm getting ready to go overseas, and the one thing he asked me for was a set of fine painting brushes from Japan. So I have to go when I'm there. I have to buy him some painting brushes.
Yes, you do. You're in Japan. Yes, you better get those regardless.
Right? I know. So that's what he asked for, though. So that's what I got to bring him back.
That's fantastic. Oh,
yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know. We do a lot of stuff. So basically, for anybody that's local that's watching at the Dungeon Crate Curios retail store, I'm opening up on the weekends. I'm opening up this Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to be open on all of the Benson First Fridays as well, and we're going to try and have some pretty good events there. I like to have my friends from the OKDF, the sword longsword HEMA longsword fencing group that I was part of and still in. Should probably get back to it. But they usually do demo. They can do a demo there, and I usually have games going on. We're gonna have classes like terrain building classes. We're gonna have mini painting classes and mini painting art jams. We're gonna have Dungeon Club, which is free to the public. You just have to sign up, and we've got 3 tables of games that go on during the day that you can just walk in and you get a set of dice, you get your character, you get a pre-gen characters, and you get to just, even if you don't know how to play, it's a great place to meet people to game with later. Like, you don't have to come back to my place every time to game and do your campaign, but you meet people at my place, and then you can go play at Becky's place, a game shop. Yay, hi Becky.
Right. But, and I want some people to know this too, that you're saying if you're in our local area. Well, I want other people to know outside of our local area. Guess what? If you guys are coming to do investigations that are around us, like at Malvern Manor over in Iowa, or the Squirrel Cage, which is over in Council Bluffs, and a couple other places that are around here, these stores are literally 20, 30 minutes away. So it's just a quick jaunt, because I know that you're not going to investigate.
From people to do investigations in the Benson stores, which are extremely haunted.
Yes.
So
well, there you go too.
If you want to do it, it'd be great.
In fact, it's funny you say that, because I didn't show the comment earlier, but one of the earlier comments from my wife was like, we need to go investigate in Benson, because she and I actually do investigations. And she's like, we need to go investigate in Benson. So there you go, Nikki. Now we got to get a hold of Wayne to get permission to get into those places. But yeah, so even if you don't live in our area, but you're coming this way for investigations, because I know that we did overnight investigations, you have the opportunity to come check out all this really cool stuff in Omaha and in Benson and everything else. It's right here. And you said Lori owns the game shop.
No. Lori's my wife. Sorry. She owns Big Ink Writing Service. She owns the other business that we own. Becky, my friend Becky, owns Game Shop here in town, and I think they have a place in Omaha as well as Bellevue. They also have open game tables. They have all the game stuff. I'm not going to have any other game stuff. My store is the thing is that separates my actual retail store from Becky's is that I'm not going to offer any of that stuff. I'm going to offer all the fun, cool stuff and used stuff and just odd stuff. It's a curio is curio stuff. Like my adventurer, my character that goes on adventures just to bring back things for his secondhand store. Or is it third hand? Millennia hand, I'm not sure. But he brings those all back. And so I take things from local makers, local dice makers, and local artisans, and I put them in my shop. So everybody else can do their game stuff, so I can work with them. And we're happy family rather than competition.
Yeah.
Come nerd out at my place and then go nerd out there too.
Yeah, my wife is already saying, "Yep, when I get back, we have to get a hold of you for the Benson stuff." So outstanding.
Yeah, there's lots. I mean, there's tons of stories. Yes.
So, but yeah, so it's really cool because a lot of people that don't know about the Omaha area, they don't know that we are. Everyone thinks that Nebraska is corn, which it really is. But there's the Omaha area itself. If you you can have everything. You can have investigations. You can have nostalgia. You can have awesome steaks. It's really is a really well hidden, not well known place to a lot of people.
Yeah.
For people who want to come and do stuff like that, and I say that because I do investigations, and there's a lot of local places around here that I have not been to yet, and that's my fault. But I'm going to be getting to once I actually get back to the area. Mm-hmm. But it's surprising how much if you really wanted to just do an investigation trip, and you wanted to plan out like 3 or 4 days, this is a very good place to be because. I mean, we have Benson, like you're talking about. We have the places I talked about. I know a lot of the cemeteries around here.
Cemeteries, Hummel Park, Old Market.
Yeah. We have so many places.
Yeah, you're gonna get some experience going to these places.
If you wanted to, and that's another thing. Like I said, if you really wanted to come here, you can check this out, and you can check out all the Wayne stuff and everything else.
Also, Omaha has an amazing food scene. We have some top places to go that have been nationally recognized. We have an amazing art scene with fantastic galleries. We have got a music scene that has been the center of I don't know. We've got one of the best music scenes, probably better than Nashville. It's too flooded down there. We get the good music up here in Omaha. We've got all these things. You're into whether it's into metaphysical culture, tattoo culture, anything. We've got that here. So when you do come to visit, if you're doing anything from that, we've got tons of stuff here for you to. All you got to do is just look. Really, it's right. Yeah. Right. Again, great food scene. We've got nationally known chefs here that.
And something that everyone overlooks until they get here to check it out is we have.
Good. Keep flying by, New Yorkers.
A fantastic, unbelievable zoo.
Yeah.
A lot of people overlook that.
We're the top. I think we're the second highest ranking zoo in the nation.
We always switch back between 1 and 2 between us and San Diego. Yeah,
and
we're always the two that switch back and forth.
I was the.
That's what my son. That's what my son works right now.
Yeah, really? Oh, yeah. I was the vet tech there. I was the vet tech. They only had really one vet tech at the time, and the veterinarian and the gal that was my supervisor. But I worked there and for about a year or two. Yeah, So another thing I did. So I got to work with all of the animals in the zoo. Every newborn, we got to do cute little neonatals on. Oh, they're so cute. And all the stuff. And the gross autopsies and necropsies, of the animals that do die or pass. That was an interesting experience, but they do so much amazing work that the public never sees as far as the all their lab they have for the they freeze eggs. They really try and put together stuff and do all sorts of stuff for ecology. Tons of stuff you don't see behind the scenes, but it's a beautiful zoo. And now it's even better. We have elephants. I haven't even been back. I got to go see the elephants, man.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Mine is the lions and the rhinos. So those are
my yeah.
So yeah.
And the sky bridge, they have a sky, or the sky.
The Skyfari.
Skyfari, yes.
The Skyfari.
I still hold on to that like crazy. I'm like, my daughter's like, it's okay, Dad. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
We're trying to. My feet into toilet. I've seen some idiots here. Come on.
Right.
We're gonna fall right into the Puma pen.
Yeah. So yeah. So I know we squirreled all over the place now. So we've kind of our straight line serpentine the hell out of itself.
You warned me about that. Yeah, it's happening.
See,
the world
I
of Wayne
did.
happening right here.
Well, and it's funny too because this is something that happens every Monday on my show. Everyone knows, guess what? Squirrel moments are about to happen. So
yeah, it should be called Everything I Didn't Learn from a Rule Book. Just saying.
So yeah, so I kind of want to go back to your rune stuff because I have questions about that. When you're doing the runes, I've watched you do it, and it's it doesn't really seem like you have to. Nikki does have to say she's missing the ears. So she's just saying that. So I had to.
If she really wants ears, I'll give her some ears.
So 1 second, folks. This is actually how I met him.
Yeah.
When we saw this. So yes. But when you're doing the runes, there you go. See, there's the ears right there. Yeah. This is how we actually met him, and I still walked up to him and talked to him.
Right.
Which was funny because when I met you, I don't get drawn into people's looks or people's words or anything else. The way I get drawn into people, the reason I walk up to you, and the reason I walked up to like Astara and Christy and Annie and some of the other ones is because I was drawn to your energy.
Yeah.
There's something about the energy that I can sense that tells me that you're authentic and you're real and you're going to be a good person to get information out from. So
that's wearing the ears.
Even wearing the ears.
There's a story about it.
But I have a question about when you're doing the runes. Some people, like some psychics or some mediums or however else you want to say it, they kind of have to get ready for it. They kind of got to prep themselves for it. They got to put themselves into some state of mind. They have to open themselves up.
Yes.
Is that something that you have to do? Do you have to prep yourself that way and kind of get ready for this all right, I'm about to do the rune readings. I'm about to do this. And you have to put yourself in a different mindset. Or is this just something you're just like, I got this. I've been doing this. I don't have to really prep much. I'm just, bam, let's go.
No, yeah, I definitely have learned that it is much better to prep yourself each time, every reading. Not only before, like, take Mystic Fest, for example. I not only prepped my area, the tent that I was in, and I, cleansed that, made that a sacred space. Every time I do a rune reading, I do an intentional kind of, I guess some would call it intentional prayer. And I I ask my spirit guides to be there, and I ask for them to communicate with their spirit guides each time I do that. And it's a serious thing because if again, whenever you're doing things like divination or magic, it's all about actually stating your intentions, and that's my intention for that. When I'm done with that, then I got to make sure that I cleanse and clear. It's done with the day, I should say. Clear, turn off my third eye, kind of thing, and go from there. But usually, you do have to kind of prepare because it's weird because it is. I mean, and you have to learn that too. And some people don't get so drained. Some people do get more drained. I don't know, but I got to realize what I had to do in order for me not to be completely drained at the end of the day.
Right.
In order for me to be happily like I ran a marathon kind of thing. Feel good about the exercise. Feel good about it,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You don't want to ever get, it's like my buddy used to say, why eat food when it makes you feel lazy and tired? It's not supposed to make you feel that way. It's supposed to make you feel energize you. And so that's what I think that the readings should do, because I get energized from the readings, but afterward you're just like, ooh, wow, I got a nap. So
yeah, and that's kind of how I am when I when I go on investigations. I don't get tired. I just kind of energy gets built. I actually pass energy to other people when they get tired, because I kind of ramp up. And I have been told before I'm an energy vampire, which I don't think is the correct term. I think I have the ability to pull energy from other sources that have extra energy that allows me to share that energy out. I don't like the term energy vampire because it makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. But when I do it, I don't feel like I am.
Energy vampire is a term used for people that do that maliciously. It is not for regular empaths that do it. Scorpios are energy vampires like crazy, man. I can give it out. I can walk in a room, people know exactly what I'm thinking, or I can be trying to hide it and people know exactly what I'm thinking. Because it's an open book. I'm like, whatever. But if I don't want people to have a good time, I just can put myself in a mindset to suck all of the joy out of a room. And that's just a thing. It's how you use that. It's an empathic ability that, regardless if you think if you say you're an empath, you're also got bad things that go along with that. You affect other people's moods when you're in a bad mood, and you're in a bad mood because you took on somebody else's bad mood. Now you're going to make sure that everybody else around you's not going to have a good time.
Right.
You feel good because you're an empath and you're sucking it all in. But I'm not an energy vampire. Oh no. But that's kind of how it is. It's like.
So Melody's saying it's an energy
channeler. Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
appreciate that. I like that term better.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to go back to yes, and I have been told that where I draw my energy from is because I can see, hear, and talk to, just like I'm seeing, hearing, and talking to you, elementals. And I have been told that I draw my energy from the earth, from the different elementals who have the energy to give. And that's why I kind of have an endless source, because I pull mine from nature. And it's they're more than willing to give it to me to help me push that energy to others to help them keep going and everything else. So it's kind of it's not really a take. It's more of a give and take. I mean, they're willing to give it to me so I can share it with others because I'm giving it to them for other reasons. I'm not holding it to myself because I'm an energy whore. It's for lack of a better term. It's me sharing it with other people. So, but yeah, so I appreciate. I will use the term energy channeler better.
Yeah, no, I think that's better, and I'm going to use that if you don't mind, because I think it makes things a little bit more clear, especially for those that feel like they're an energy vampire when they're not trying to be. It might open up some different type of perceptions from people that are beating themselves up when they don't need to be. They can actually realize, oh, well, if I can pull energy from a room, I can give energy to a room.
Yeah.
If I can feel people's energies and all of that, well, then I can also protect myself, and I can portray an opposing energy to lift the vibration in a room. You know what I mean? So again, that's experience, and that's, again, the wisdom and knowledge kind of thing that you got to balance.
Nikki will tell you that, I don't know why, I honestly don't, but she will tell you that when she has identified it to me before, that when I walk into a room, the energy changes. I don't know if it's for good or bad, but she says the energy will change when I walk into a room, and she knows it. She can sense it by the people that are around us, or just whatever. But she says, yeah, when you walk into a room, you have a presence to where people just go, something's different. I'm hoping it's always a positive, not a negative.
It could be both. That's the thing. It could be both. If you're a shiner, if you shine pretty bright, then I always think that happens, man. I mean, I think that if you're shining, and regardless, you can be in a happy mood, walk into a room and elevate that feeling. And everybody that's across the room will still feel it, and they don't even see you. And yet they feel lighter and they feel more happy. And if you're in a crappy mood, if you're in a down mood, if you're in depression, or if you just want to feel good by taking it out on others, and you walk in their room, change that.
Well, I know that if my energy is negative, I kind of shut it to myself. I kind of close it off from everybody else, and I just kind of put it to myself, because I don't want to have that negative effect on others. So I kind of internalize it. I get quiet, but I don't push the energy out to the others. I'm just like, okay, I'm about to be a wallflower over here. I'm going to observe everything, but I just kind of want to be by myself, and I'm not going to give off that negative energy. So I really focus on that when I'm with others. So
that is something that people like me are trying to accomplish. So yes, well, I mean, I'll be happy with a certain situation and I happen to be there. I can be quiet, but usually it ends up people really know that I'm not happy and they're like, feel it or whatever. So I really got to figure that out to make sure that they're, or you really just got to learn how to be unhappy or do whatever in your own space while exuding a different energy.
Yeah. Yep.
How can you do that? And that's, I think, most people's biggest problem with that kind of thing, especially if they're in past something or whatever.
I don't know how I do. I mean, I honestly don't know how I do it, but it's something that it just seems to come natural to me. I'm just like, okay, so this is my energy. Other people don't need to know about this energy. This is mine, so I'm not going to share this because why would I put this burden on the other people when they're having a good time? This is mine. So then the chameleon side of me comes out. Well, because then the chameleon side of me comes out. And the chameleon side of me can fit into any kind of situation, which is where you fall into, I believe, because you do the same things. And I call it the chameleon effect because I can blend in with any situation I'm in, and they will not know that what my mood is because of how I express myself outwardly. So
that's where we different. That's where it's different, is because I can't hide my mood, but I can certainly blend into any situation. I don't care if it, what it is. I can probably blend into that situation or work with that person or whatever. But I literally have to turn off the mood button because I can't, well, that's the thing with like the next millennium. We got to go in that shop. When people come in there and they're looking for help and they're looking for, or they're doing a rune reading. Like if I'm doing rune readings with it, I can't go in and do rune readings when I'm in a shitty mood. I can't. You have to leave it at the door. I can't have a shitty, terrible day. Yeah, I got to leave it at the door. And the same thing when you're helping people that are coming in who've had a crappy day or currently having a crappy day, and they just want somebody to listen to them and give them guidance or give them a crystal or give them something to make them feel better. Just tell them they look cute, or tell them their hair looks nice, or tell them that they like their earrings, or give them the crystal that they didn't know they needed and they picked it out themselves, and you tell them why, and they're just like, I knew it, and they start to cry, that kind of stuff. It's like that. You can't have that, as a practitioner, you just can't carry, you got to be able to at least separate your own baggage so that you can deal with everybody else's baggage, because they're bringing it to you. And I think that's the most important. Still have your own baggage, man. I walk into a room and if I got my own baggage, I'm not helping anybody else. I'm not, you're gonna feel that shit, man. It's there. I control it, but otherwise, it's like, but everybody does. I think it's very common for that to happen to people. So, but so my ears, yes. So I gotta tell you the story in the ears. You're still in the ears. So again, at the next millennium, when I first got my retail job there, I don't really wear the ears when I do divination for people. But at Mystic Fest, since I sell these at Next Millennium, and also the other Next Millennium co-workers also wear them too. It's fun. I would wear them and I feel that a lot of people that came into Mystic Fest, since we put it on, know me from that. So I kind of wore them for that. But weirdly enough, when I started Next Millennium, I wore these ears because I just thought it would entertain the children, the kids. And I thought they'd find it funny and be like, oh. But they look at me, the kids look at me like I got 3 heads. They're just like, so sorry. They're like, oh. The adults come in and they could be in a bad mood and they'll look at me and they go, oh, I love your ears. I'm like, thanks. I like yours too for a human. Or I'll be like, oh, yeah, thanks. My mom's side of the family. And I learned that I could wear these. I've never not worn them. Every day I've worked there for years. I've worn these ears every single day, because if I don't wear them, people either don't see me, like literally will walk past me, not even recognize that I'm there, or that they did that and I felt weird, or it wouldn't break the ice enough for them, because people coming in there when they need something, they don't necessarily, they just need a quick icebreaker to make them smile in order for everybody else to leave and then for them to come up to you. And I've talked to people in these ears about stuff, and we're both in tears.
Yeah.
And it's serious stuff that I can't even share on the show, but it's serious stuff. And when they see that you're authentic, they just know that you're wearing these because you want to make. Why not? I'm 54 years old and I can wear elf ears to make people smile. I'll do it, you know. And if it makes that old lady smile because she just loves it every time we come in, oh, there's my elf, my rock elf.
Right.
And if the kids come running in because they're like, where's my elf? Where's the elf? You know, if they yell at the other workers because I'm not there and they don't have ears on, then I'm wearing the ears every single time I work, you know, because it makes people happy. I forget I have them on, so it's not really for me. I don't want to show off, you know, it's just, but it makes people happy and they open up more. It reminds me of when I was doing podcasting and interviewing people. You know, you have to find those things that, you know, when you look at somebody and you talk to them, or you find out something that everybody else has asked them before, and you find the one thing they didn't, you know, and you can ask them that, and they get into it, and you see that thing, you know, that's all they want, to feel comfortable and feel like, hey, you're lighthearted, cool, I'm having a good time now, you know, you don't care, so I don't care if I wearing something that maybe made me feel self-conscious. And yet when I go to Next Flame, when I go in there and I see a guy wearing elf ears, and they feel great about themselves, you know, especially when I compliment them. They compliment my ears, I can compliment them on their shoes or whatever, you know. It's like, why not? Why not? If it makes you happy, you know.
Yeah, and that's funny because it doesn't matter where I go. I've realized that most people comment on the beard and the mohawk, and it's, you know, it's for a lot of people, it's different to see a 50-year-old heavy-set, gray-bearded guy walking around with the mohawk and a big old beard.
Yeah, right.
But they always want to comment on it. They always want to ask questions about it. So it's kind of cool because I do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, I got an axe.
And obviously it works because look at this. Nikki says, I know, right? Tom says he met him at Mystic Fest, but when we were at the store he works at, I remember passing him because of the ears. So see, there it is. It does make an impression. It does make it stick, and it does make you memorable. And it's, I mean, it was really cool.
If they can't remember my name, or usually people do because Wayne, nobody forgets Wayne,
right?
But they'll always remember that person with their ears. And if they can look back on, say, they told me something that was very personal, and I keep it personal. You know, I don't tell people, I don't share my customers' things, But if we're both if it's personal and we're both in tears or whatever, you know, if they can look back on that memory and be like, that one person, I don't even know his name, he just was wearing elf ears, and I told him this, and he gave me a couple of words of advice, and it maybe changed my attitude towards something, you know, that's why not, you know, that to me is the point of it. There's different points to wearing the ears.
Beautiful. Good pun.
Yeah, that's my story. So I'm sticking to it.
That's a perfect way. All right. Well, I think that's a great place to end it. To kind of wrap this up. Wait, well, I told you this is gonna go by pretty fast. We're at an hour and a half.
I know, you're right. Yeah.
I told you it's gonna act like you're gonna be like, well, that was 20 minutes. No, it was an hour and a half.
No.
So again, as I told you off stage beforehand, I really look forward to this conversation, and I am going to want to have you on again, especially after the book is out. Everybody remember there's a book coming out, and earlier someone even mentioned it too. I know I said, hey, put it on my page. Let's advertise this out. And Jamie even posted, we'll all advertise this out for you. And that's what's great about the audience is she has her own site too. A lot of people on here have their own sites, and I appreciate them a lot because they have a tendency, and we all have the same thought process here. Unlike some of the shows I've come across or some of the sites I've come across, which I really don't advertise on, because I have a belief that we're not in competition with each other. Right. We should be complimenting. Right. We should be complimenting and helping each other, not competing against each other. Mm-hmm. So I have no problem where people have a new book coming out or someone has a new like when Christy advertised the movie coming out. So I might throw it up on my site, let people know about it. And then I love my family over there that's doing all the commenting because they go out and look at my site and then they grab stuff from my site and they share it out too. So it's fantastic. So I love the family I have, that supports us and supports the show and everything else, because they get involved. And we are very cohesive, and we're a very happy unit together, and we're not in competition. I am in competition with absolutely no one over there. They're all my family, and they know that. So, I love it because they support us in every possible way they can. So
I usually do everything. That's what I've approached all of my entrepreneurship. Everything I've ever done is like, I want to do it different than anybody else, because I don't want it to be competition. I'm going to support you. And I think there's a slice of pie for everyone, man.
Right. I don't do this. It's very cliche, but I don't do this for money. I don't get paid to do this.
Yeah, because good luck with that.
I do this because I want people.
For 18 years for no money.
Yeah, but I do this because I want people to have a platform where they're comfortable to come on and talk and have a community.
Yeah.
That's what this is about, and this is why I bring on guests, because each one of you is unique. Each one of you is special, and each one of you brings something different to the table that gives someone an aha moment, or gives something new that they've never heard of before, or just the smallest conversation, and they can take something from it and go, I can actually use that in my life. So it's beneficial. So that's what's great about me able to have this platform, because I get to bring people like you on and everybody else, and I get to share everything about you to the audience, and it's fantastic. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
I will let you go so you can go pee. But again, I will ask you to be on. Normally, like I said, about 6 to 8 months, I'll ask you to come back on, so that way we have time to build more stuff and everything else. And I want to see where you're at.
Maybe I'll have you on my podcast, on the Runeways podcast soon.
Oh, that would be great.
Do that?
I would do that. And I know everyone would come watch that one too.
And then I can grill you.
Right. I know. A little different being on the other side. No, but that's fantastic. So I will still stay in touch with you. If you have anything you want to put on my site, I don't care what it is. You want to advertise your Dungeon Crate, I'm already advertising it out there. You want to advertise your Runeways, you want to advertise your book, throw it out on my site. I don't care. That's what it's there for.
All right.
So, all right. Other than that, thank you for being on, Wayne. I greatly appreciate it. It was fantastic.
What I never learned from a textbook, a school book.
From a school book. So
from a rule book now.
From a rule book now. So I want to throw these up there really quick. Everyone's saying, hey, great show. Love you guys. I do want to do this one more time too, just so it's out there. It's also in the comments. So if you missed it, you can actually go out to the comments. And I posted all this out in the comments. There's this one here, which is for his Dungeon Crate. And then we also have the other one that's for his Runeways. So go out there.
If you'd like video reading or anything like that, send me a message. Runeways info.
It's out there on the sites. Yeah, if it's out there on the sites, if you go out to the sites, you click on the link. All that information about getting a video reading and everything else is out there. It's a great site to go look at. Go check it all out. There's all kinds of information about them. Make sure you're going out there, and not only are you clicking on it to bookmark it and to like it, but share it out. So this way everybody else gets a chance to experience Wayne. So it's an experience in its own. So thanks, Lori. I appreciate you being here too. That was so much fun.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it, Tom. This is awesome.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic.
Fun conversation. You're a natural. And yeah, I'm
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is super fun.
Only doing it for 7 months. I'm still kind of figuring out all the little bells.
Right, but you're still you're good.
I appreciate it. So thank you very much. I will be in contact with you again. Have a great night, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. Ears up.
All right. Thanks, brother. All right, everyone. That's the show. Thanks for being on. Again, I had on Wayne Brekke. If you didn't go out and take a look at this, go out and check out his sites that I just showed up there. Fantastic person. You're going to want him to kind of help you out there. He's going to give you all those reads, and everything else is going to be fantastic. As far as my show goes, here, let me go out there and do this. If you want to find out where to find me, it's all down there. On my screen, it looks really, really tiny because I don't have my full computer right here. I'm actually traveling. For those who don't know, I'm actually in San Diego, and I will be here for a couple of weeks. So my next show will also be here in what looks like the dungeon behind me. Facebook.com, Stuff I Never Learned from the Schoolbook. Twitch.tv, Stuff I Never Learned. And YouTube, all that wonderful talking and writing and everything else. If you just typed in Stuff I Never Learned from the Schoolbook, it'll pop up. So go ahead and take a look at those as well. Like, follow, share, enjoy. Love it very much. Next Monday, I actually have on his name is James Cloud, and he is an archbishop, and he is also an exorcist. So he is going to be on the show next week. Make sure you're here for that one. He's actually been on a couple of TV shows you may know of. We'll talk about that next week, but same time next Monday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So, sorry, I was just reading all this. But yes, please feel free to follow us. Please feel free to share us out. I'd love to grow this community, let other people know that they have a nice place to come to in the community just to kind of talk and learn about stuff. If they want to, they can ask questions. They can do whatever they want. But other than that, have a great night. Much love. I appreciate you all, and I love you all. And I will see you next Monday right here. So have a great evening. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you all later.